Hey everybody, welcome to day 2 of our Science of Getting Rich Mastery series, our study, Achieve Success in Online Business. Today we're covering chapter 2 and it's There is a Science of Getting Rich. So this is the mastery study for the network marketers. Mr. Waddles says there's a science of getting rich and it's an exact science like algebra or arithmetic. There are certain laws that govern practices for acquiring riches and wealth, and once these laws are learned and obeyed by anyone, yes, you, that person will get rich with mathematical certainty. I really like that. I really like that quote there. So Robert Hollis talks about how this chapter really took away any of his excuses that he has, and he also mentions that Warren Buffett are to Google Warren Buffett's mentor, and Benjamin Graham shows up right away. So as soon as Warren Buffett could afford, he enrolled in the Columbia Business School, and he did that because his mentor Benjamin Graham had done it. So that's important. Make sure that you're taking notes. You can always come back and watch this, but it will have a lot to do with the assignment today, all right? So doing things because your mentor has done them in a certain way. Good point to remember. There's 3 groups of people I want to talk about, and please don't get upset. It doesn't mean that you are in any of the negative groups, right? Some people will be in one group at one time and then another group at another time. So just because if you are in the fighter group doesn't mean you're going to remain in the fighter group, all right, the category. Because there was a long time where I was in that group because of so much bitterness and anger I had because of a situation I was in, and I'm no longer there. So it can change. You have to take the steps to change. But it doesn't mean that people are in those categories forever. Alrighty? So the clueless, they may never really get it. You know how you explain something to somebody and they're just not getting what you're saying, or once you've said it, they kind of do things totally maybe not like you've explained it, but they think they are. There's people that are in this group that are people pleasers. They want to do everything that they're being told to do. They want to please everyone. That's a hard place to be because you're not going to be able to please everyone, and it's going to start, you're going to spin your wheels, and that's not going to be good. And there's the know-it-alls. You've done that training, you've done this training, you've read that book, you've heard this before, right? And it's hard to teach anything to people that know everything. And then there's those with an ego, which means edging God out. You just, you got it all. You got this. It's better to come from a humble spirit or a humble standpoint, and that will help you along the way with online business. Then there's the group of people that they're more of the fighter, like I was mentioning before. They always, they're doing something different. They're like the rebels without a cause, except for maybe themselves, right? They're not in it for people. They are in it for themselves. It doesn't matter what's happening. They are going to get it done for them. I was once like that because I had such a huge chip on my shoulder. It was actually more like, a brick. But I had a lot of work to do on myself and my emotions. And when I did that work, I came out on the other side, and I'm no longer like that. And that's when you start seeing things happening and changes happening in your life. So that's an awesome place to be. The open, these are the best. telling you, they come from the point of being humble. They know they're miserable. They know that the things that they've tried haven't worked. You know, some of you may be like that if you're here doing this training right now. So they're going to find someone to match, to mirror and match and do exactly what the other person is doing because they are tired of spinning their heels, doing this and that, and not seeing results. And they want some results. So they're open. Now, great leaders follow and duplicate great leaders. It's really, really important. Tony Robbins was asked once what his key to success was. His answer was that he followed Jim Rohn for years and did everything in a certain way. Jim Rohn followed Earl Schultz and did everything exactly the way Earl Schultz did. If he did a morning ritual, then Jim did a morning ritual. He did everything that he heard his mentor did. So Earl Schultz, if I can say that, learned from Earl Nightingale, and Earl Nightingale learned from and applied the principles from this book, The Science of Getting Rich. So this book is like the granddaddy for a lot of mindset books and trainings that are out there, that have been out there for a while. My mentor learned from Bill Gold. He mentions in his book, How Is That Working? And he's followed Bill Gould and Brendan Burchard. I follow Robert Hollis and Melody Riba. And so there's a reason. Sorry about that noise. There's a reason why Robert started following Brendan Burchard, okay? He paid him like $10,000 to go to a 3-day course to learn how to become an author because Brendan Burchard was, a bestseller. So Robert went to the best, right? And he learned from the best. And so that's why he followed him. I believe his book is, or the one that Robert was mentioning was The Millionaire Messenger. So if you want to look that up, it's a pretty good book. Let's see. So guess what? We're going to have points throughout this study of guess what's. Give credit to whom credit is due. Always edify your mentors. All of these people edify their mentors. Every single one of them teach that too. So that's a really important point. Continued, great leaders follow and duplicate great leaders. Now, let me get up here. So Robert's mentor, Bill Gould, learned from Larry Huff. And Larry Huff and Larry Thompson, I'm sorry. They both learned from Jim Rohn. So Bob Proctor, Les Brown, Zig Ziglar, recognize some of these names? Jack Hanford, Dennis Whitley, and many, many others. So many others can be lined up and be seen, generations and generations back to this book. The grandfather, the granddaddy of all of this. Of course, Napoleon Hill, right, of Think and Grow Rich, who was the mentor of Earl Nightingale, who was the mentor of Bob Proctor. And then there's Andrew Carnegie, right? So you see the reference there. You see the correlation between all of them. Robert Hollis actually spent a lot of time with Jim Rohn. I think that's pretty cool. When he learned that Andrew Carnegie learned to get all of his wealth from the book of The Science of Getting Rich, he decided to study it and study it and study it, right? We need to master the points in this. So pay attention to in a certain way. This is another key point. There are people in your state, in your town, in your religion, faith, neighborhood, life situation who are rich. They come from where you are who are rich. Okay, God is no respecter of persons, which means he won't just bless one person and then, say to the next. There's no excuses of many things that could come up in our lives, like I'm adopted, I was abused, I was abandoned, I grew up really, really poor, I was, a misfit teenager and never got my act together. I couldn't find a purpose in my 20s. There's no reason. Now I'm old. I'm too old for this. There's people your age, coming from your background that are successful, because there are rich, happy, and wealthy people who were in those situations also. Robert was. I had some issues personally that I had to deal with, and as long as you don't let it stop you, it won't stop you. But you've got to know that in your heart, all right? So back to this slide, things are done in a certain way. The certain way is like a scientific formula of certainty, like a combination lock or like a recipe. We'll see that again throughout this today's assignment. So excuses, negative talk, excuses need to leave the way you think today. All right. If you haven't gotten my list, I have I am statements, the God memorandum. If you don't have that, reach out to me and let me know, okay? And I will get that to you, because those are so helpful in getting the excuses gone, so you're thinking a different way. Really, really important. So things are done in a certain way. If you don't do things in a certain way, it will become frustrating and you'll just want to quit. So a certain way is like a combination lock. You may have all of the numbers, but if you don't enter them in that certain way, you're not going to be able to open the lock, right? Think about that. If you don't have those numbers in the right order, you're not opening that lock. Recipe, right? You may have all of the ingredients, but if you don't follow the recipe exactly, that cake or pie will not turn out delicious. There's going to be an issue there. I don't know the exact, if I don't know the exact combination or the exact recipe, or if you don't know, you'll work yourself out and not get the results that you want. It will be exhausting and you'll just want to give up. This can get really, really frustrating. So Robert's mentor, Bill Gould, would tell them that if they don't do things this way or that way, exactly what he was saying to do, they were out. Bam, that was it, right? So 21 out of 22 of them that were following Mr. Gould became millionaires because of doing things in a certain way also. So this principle works. Another great example is the military. They really have to do things in a certain way. Of course, games, basketball, football, you have to do things the way your coach is telling you, the way the game is played. If you're playing a football game and you're trying to, do some basketball moves, it's not going to work, right? Makes sense, doesn't it? When it's put like this, it makes sense. So like the notes of a song, they're done in a certain way to produce that certain melody. It's fantastic, and I love this concept. And if you can grasp this concept, really get it, it's going to make like a click for you. Some people instead, though, do things their own way. Not always the best idea, right? Now this is kind of a fun image. I'm kind of making a pun out of it, of course, but still, the point is driven home, right? So if you want to become successful, learn from those who've already done it. Some people instead decide that no matter what success comes by doing things in a certain way, they want to do things their own way. They add actions and steps. They take away actions and steps, or they'll try a mismatch, right? A whole bunch of different things like a goulash, right? Different things, and then they say nothing works. Instead of doing things in a certain way that could bring them success. So again, huge importance, right? So guess what? Some actions build upon each action that should be done in a certain way. So it builds upon itself. There are scores of examples where you must do things in a certain way. Again, martial arts. You will not even get scored if you do not do it in a certain way. Now, remember, you can kind of see this picture here that I've got in the background. Remember Mr. Miyagi with Daniel-san? Wax on, wax off. Hi, right? If you haven't seen that, you've got to see it. You can Google it. It is awesome. He really drives the point home about a certain way. So if you have not seen The Karate Kid, you might want to look that up and rent it and watch the whole movie, because that is really what we're doing right here. Wax on, wax off. Hey, just do it. So basketball must be played in a certain way. Football must be played in a certain way. Recipes must be followed in a certain way. Combination locks are opened in a certain way. Ice skating is performed in a certain way. And yes, even social media marketing is done in a certain way. It is, okay? So if you add a step or take away a step or even change the sequence of any of the steps, the outcome will not be the successful one, and it will fail. You can't take a step in basketball without dribbling the ball, right? You'll get called on for that. That's not okay. You can't just run through the court without dribbling. You can't open a combination lock if you don't have the sequence. You don't have the numbers in order. So in social media marketing, there's certain steps, action steps that you need to take that will get you certain results. There's certain action steps that you could be taking that are getting you certain results, but you may not want the certain results. They may not be what you're looking for. So social media marketing, let's talk about that for a minute, okay? Now remember, you're getting my other training combined with this for specifically on social media marketing. The actual action steps that you need to take daily, but this is going to help more so get your mind geared and keep you, tuned in to what you need to keep doing. So the issue with network marketing training is that a lot of top earners started training people on how to do things that were not for the average person, right? Yes, they may be the top earners, but they're not the top trainers of what affiliate and network marketers need to do to start doing on social media. Then there's many different trainings out there. It's hard to know which is right for you, which one's going to work for you. People are buying this course or that course. Nothing is working. Sometimes not following the crowd is the best way to go. Now, I know I'm talking about mirror and matching, but you need to know the right way to mirror and match, okay? The right way to follow and the right certain steps to follow to get you the right results, all right? So it's not always easy to know when that is though, or what to do. People put a ton of time and effort into the process, and it's not going to work anyway. Then you're not going to get the results that you want. Okay. Um, then you start on the next training and it just gets so frustrating. Social media marketing is done a lot of different, it's done a lot different than a lot of top earners teach. They add too many steps that you don't need to, you don't need to do, especially when you're starting out, or if you haven't had huge success yet, you're not there and you don't need to do it yet. They add too many, bells and whistles that you need, all the colors of branding and tools that you need, right? That's not needed. That's not needed, and it sets you up to get flustered and frustrated and to fail when you just need to start doing your little daily action steps, and it's going to build into an awesomeness for your business. It's really, you need to get into self-development. It's better to really work on self-development while you're doing social marketing in the right way. All right. So again, is social media marketing is done a lot differently than some top earners teach. Has too many trainings to pick from. It's hard to tell which one is best for you. Means the best way isn't always following the crowd. Rewards those who stand out and owns who they are. Works best when a relationship is began before you prospect the person. Okay, so we need to stop the negative self-talk. Do you find yourself doing this at all? Um, I can't do this. I'm not good enough. I don't understand it. I'm not finding the right people. Everybody is so negative and mean, and I don't know how to make connections. I don't know how to talk to people, right? Or I can't make sales. No one wants to buy my stuff. No one's interested in what I have to offer. So there's ways to change this. So instead of saying, I can't find the right people, say, I'm glad more great people are coming to me. Instead of saying, I'm not good at talking to people, say, I'm getting better and better at talking to people. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, give yourself a pat on the back for that. We're just looking for, progress. If you're saying to yourself, I can't make any sales, no one's buying, say instead, I'm so thankful more and more people who want what I have are seeing what I have. All right, so the guess what is it's a good idea of taking an inventory of ourselves to see what's happening and why we do the things we do, because that can actually affect how people respond to us. Our attitudes affect other people greatly. So very few people become successful without a coach and mentor. It's so important. I didn't have any progress until I got a coach and mentor. So this picture is of me and Melody Ryba in Vegas. And below that is me and Robert Hollis in Vegas. And I was so thankful to finally get to meet them in person. They are just, the awesome sauce to my learning. And Melody is the reason behind this specific training. So thank you, Melody, and thank you, Robert. And so coaches, what do they do? Learn from who have done it and who are helping others do it, not just who has done it for themselves. They motivate you and they'll give you a kick in the britches when needed, right? And sometimes we need that. So do as they do with your shine, right? You gotta have your own personality. You got to have you in the mix. I'm not saying try to imitate another person, another human being. I'm just saying mirror the process. Mirror the process, and you're going to get a lot further. Trust me, okay? So, if someone else has become successful, so can you. Everybody can learn to do things in a certain way. Everybody can become successful. Robert Hollis has taught 55 people, or not taught, but has mentored 55 people in becoming millionaires now. And guess who is the 55th? Melody, my other mentor. So it pays to watch and mimic who is making that progress, who has a heart for people, who wants to help others succeed, not just themselves. So I paid a lot of money for their trainings amongst other trainings, right? And now I want to pass that on exactly how they do things and what I've learned. I'm passing on the certain way of becoming successful with social media marketing and online business. The certain way of doing things 100 years ago is not the certain way of doing things today. So, it's doing things a certain way 100 years ago isn't even the same as doing things 20 years ago. Doing things 20 years ago isn't the same as doing things right now. Things change because technologies change. We don't have to go door to door anymore. So there's a constant change, and we need to be up to date with that. We need to constantly learn and grow and be up to date with what is working and what is not working. So you need to do things in a certain way. You see this couple? Now, I'm not laughing at the couple. I hope they're not hurt, right? I found this. But just like dance moves, if you're in business, you do not want to crash and burn, because if you're not doing dance moves in a certain way, you're going to fall. So, guess what? You don't have to get knocked down. We all have an ability to be successful if we follow instructions step by step and not try to add a spin where you need to take a step, right? Because then you may get knocked down. Now, if you do get knocked down, get back up. That is really, really important. Get back up. Don't stay down. Don't give up. You can do this. It has nothing to do with your talent, your background, or how you were raised. We all have an even playing field. Warren Buffett learned from Benjamin Graham. If you mirror and match every time Warren Buffett invested, you would be rich. You'd be a rich, rich person. Even if you invested like $20 in what he invested when he invested and sold what he sold, you would become very, very wealthy. So it's mirror and matching. It's watching what is working right now in a certain way, right? So doing what the successful are doing. It has nothing to do with your background or talent. You do not need to be highly intelligent to do this. You don't need to be good looking or beautiful, right, for this. You don't need to be already wealthy either. You just need to mirror and match. All right. So you don't even need to be popular. If you don't have a following on Facebook right now, well, start from there. It's okay, because even if you're starting brand new right now, if you take a step today and then tomorrow and the next day, you are going to be so much further in the next year than you are right now. So you could say to yourself, oh, why bother? And nothing's going to happen. Nothing. But you could say, I'm going to take the steps to get there. and you will get there. Just don't give up. All right. So again, if you are totally new, or you're not getting that engagement, or you don't have much of a following or many friends on Facebook, that's what the combined training is going to help you with, on the daily action steps to take that will help build your engagement, that will help build your friend base. And it's a great combination for what we're learning in this side. Okay, so please take full advantage of that one also, because they go together. So tomorrow is all about, is opportunity monopolized? Which in other words is there enough to go around? Is there really enough for me? Hasn't it already been taken? Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this training today. Again, make sure you complete the daily assignment, and let me know if you have any questions. I'm here for you, and I want to see you succeed. And if you're getting anything from this, let me know also. Reach out to me on Facebook, all right? So thank you all so much. I sure appreciate you being here for day 2. So we'll see you tomorrow on day 3. Have a great day. Bye-bye.